The Precinct on Steam Deck, thanks to Koali for providing a code of the game. So this game is verified, and as usual on Steam Deck I usually say this is not 100% for AAA ray traced stuff. This is personally a game that I played the demo of and I found pretty interesting. Looking at it, it reminded me of GTA, but you're a police officer and you have to do police work, and it feels like an ideal game to play on Steam Deck, so it is verified. And the developers have a statement for Steam Deck: in our testing the game runs at 30, deck resolution and control scheme are natively supported. If you're playing on Steam Deck or another handheld, please select the Steam Deck or handheld options from the graphics settings. Good to see. And the large text option. That's fantastic. Alright, so as soon as you launch the game, go into options, display, large text on. That's one of my biggest things right here, that this should be on by default on Steam Deck. When it comes to graphics, quality, handheld, FSR3, and you might say, where are the rest of the options? Well, that's pretty simple. Go to custom, on quality, hit apply, then go back to graphics, and here you'll see what handheld meant. It's basically FSR3 balanced, apparently, with a 30 FPS cap, so they're forcing 30 FPS on us. At the beginning I'm going to show you unlock frame rates, and it's basically low settings with high textures and high effects, which is an interesting choice. This is a Unity game, not Unreal, so keep that in mind. So we're starting with the handheld preset without a 30 FPS cap. Alright, so welcome to the Precinct. So as you can see, this game is not graphically intensive, at least at first glance. You can get off the car, you can basically do whatever you want. So in this case, I'm using unlock frame rates, but the game again recommends a 30 FPS cap, by default is there. And you might say, but this is not graphically impressive to warrant 30 FPS on Steam Deck. And while I agree on that front, this is a Unity game, and usually Unity games, when they put any amount of physics to them, that here are a lot of destructible stuff in the environment. I mean, look at this. That makes it pretty CPU intensive, especially while moving on a car, on a helicopter, stuff like that. So yeah, unfortunately I dropped below 40s no matter what. I tried everything. I think a good place to test it is the very beginning of the game actually. So here we are at the station. Let's get outside, and there will be a chase going on, which means a lot of movement, a lot of destructibility. So let's get there. As you can see now, the ground has those nice specular highlights, which again, a very basic effect, but nice to have. At the end of the day, this still is a top-down game. You cannot really look at it behind your character like in GTA. This is more reminiscent of older GTA games. But the main sacrifice you're getting with these settings over something higher is actually the shadow casting lights. So those lights, like the ones here, don't cast shadows. Same with the police sirens. Alright, so now we have to chase them, and as you can see right now, the GPU usage is not maxed out, the CPU usage isn't either. Again, Unity with anything physical going on. While I enjoy the game quite a bit, I think this is the main issue with the game, the performance. I was expecting much better, considering what the game looks like. Alright, so which settings would I use? I'll keep it like this, like it comes by default actually. It's one of the few games where I actually think the default settings make a lot of sense. Unfortunately, this means a 30 FPS cap, but honestly, going anything above 30 just doesn't feel smooth at all. It disappoints me that I have to use the default settings without any tweaks. I'm happy that at least the developers found a good balance to get the game maintaining 30 FPS despite the performance that it gets. Again, what it suffered the most, I would say, is when you're chasing somebody at night on car. That's basically where it suffers the most for me. I'm guessing that's because of the word streaming plus the destruction that there can be in the environment, which I think is pretty cool. And at the same time, the AI doing its thing. So yeah. Again, Unity, usually when you put anything physics related, isn't really great at using all the threads available on your PC. So yeah, let's arrest him. Yeah.
You have the right to remain
You
silent.
have the right to remain silent. Alright, so now on the smaller screen, again still 30 FPS. And the frame times are not looking so great, especially at night. You can try the Steam Deck FPS cap for 30 or the in-game one. One of the things again that you can notice that is lost when using these settings is that you don't have shadows from these spotlights. I don't think it's a big deal. And once you're indoors, it's not a problem whatsoever. Let me just sign this suspect. But again, I've been playing this and I've been enjoying it quite a bit. The thing that really makes me sad is that the performance, I was expecting it to be much better. I mean, the destructibility is completely fine. The text size, once you use large text as the option. And now we got daytime. And daytime, honestly, it's very easy on the CPU and GPU. That's why I focus on nighttime most of the video. But it's fun, the game is very fun. I really like the idea of being a police officer when... In games like this, I'm usually the criminal, like in the older GTA games that had this camera perspective, a similar camera perspective. I think the game looks good enough, but on the performance side, I'm pretty disappointed. Despite the destructibility and all those nice shadows from shadowcasting lights that you can enable, the game is very intensive, at least when it comes to the CPU and GPU. Especially when it comes to the CPU, I would say. I would recommend this game on Steam Deck. If you're fine with 30 FPS with some frame time spikes, I think it's a really fun game. It's ideal for Steam Deck. I mean, you can lock it and come back to it when you want. You basically, again, play as a police officer on a game where I would expect to be a criminal instead of a police officer, which is pretty funny. But just the police work in this game, I think is super interesting. I think the reception to this game has been very positive for a good reason. It's a very fun game. So in this case it's on a sidewalk. So yeah, you put tickets, you chase people, but yeah, you should keep in mind, okay, can I shoot him? Can I just arrest him? So in this case, I'll shout, "Hey, stop right there!"
Take it easy. Issue the fine and let's get out of here.
Okay, a fine.
Hey, you. Get your baton out, partner.
Okay, now he's fighting me. Non-lethal force. Let's use a taser.
Whoa, got a wild one here. Try to restrain him.
How many tasers I need for this guy? Okay.
Assaulting a cop? That's a serious offense.
And then just to finish up the video, I'll shoot him in the face. So yeah, I think it's a fun game. If you're fine with 30 FPS, I think it's a good game, an ideal game for Steam Deck. Personally speaking, at least for me, it's something like that. But it's not for everyone, especially when it comes to performance. I think it's very disappointing. I was expecting so much more from a game like this on a portable fashion. And if you go to the highest settings that I did on my main computer, the game does look a lot better because you have a lot of shadows being cast by the sun, by the street lights, by any artificial light. So let's check the ID. But I think it's a very well-rounded game, and you should play it if you like this sort of thing. So yeah, that's it. Unity game. I wish it ran better because the game is a lot of fun. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye guys, thanks for watching.